What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for November 4th, 2024. There are not a lot of items on the list this week, but man, CIG is doing a lot more than I can remember from previous years after a CitizenCon. Some of 4.0's most anticipated features have been gutted from the patch, yet CIG is still trying to save Stanton. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike, and you guys have been really coming out this week. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Now, before we get into this week and what it was, let me share with you today's sponsor. Thank you to Boot.dev for sponsoring today's video. This one's for all you armchair developers in the comments. I see you all the time. You yourself can become a back-end web developer using Boot.dev's innovative and really smart lessons towards your goals. You will learn back-end web development programming languages like Python and Go, but what makes these lessons so different and cool, honestly, is that they use modern game design to create a self-paced but captivating RPG game that'll teach you to code. But it's not just games. Their philosophy is to use the games to get you to write a ton of code, because they believe that if you get your hands dirty and ship projects, that's the way to learn. On top of that, they have an active Discord community that will help you if you're stuck, but even help you prepare for technical interviews that might be coming up. They even have a Bear Wizard AI now that will ask you questions and help you understand something you might be stuck on rather than just give you the answer. Boot.dev never wants their students to feel like they aren't getting value, so they offer a 30-day, no questions asked refund policy, as well as a free demo of every course and its interactive features. So click the link in the description and use code SaltEMike to get 25% off your first payment for Boot.dev. Once again, that's 25% off your first month or year, depending on the subscription you choose. And of course, thank you for engaging with the sponsor spots. They have really helped me take Week in Review and its content to the next level. But we have a lot to chat about this week, so let's jump into the patch notes. And on Monday, we start out with a 324.3 PTU. Keep up with this. It's going to be weird. The main thing in the patch is the save Stanton stuff, but it was an absolute disaster for me. Ships were teleporting everywhere. I heard it was even worse at distro centers. And this has been a thing for over a week now with this. They also fixed a bug with the grenade launcher. It was not doing damage, and now it is. Nice. And then on Wednesday, they had a 4.0 EVO Playtest. This was playtest number 5, and the only feature update was animations for NPCs in Orison. I didn't see much that stuck out other than one of these NPCs was picking their nose and generally seeing more of them just kind of walking around. My focus, though, was on contested zones, and performance was, let's just say, not good at all. And because you are kind of dealing with a lot of PvE NPCs, it was a real struggle to fight them. They were either not responsive or shooting through walls. It was brutal. But I had played 4.0 in previous patches and it wasn't this bad, so there's something weird going on. Thursday had another EVO playtest number 6, and they didn't add or fix much, but their focus was on resolving those issues and crashing, and it was a bit better. But as you can see, not that much better in terms of frame rate. I mainly kept trying to find how contested zones and their key system worked, and I officially gave up. I found 6 different keys with my group, and we just hit a wall with where to use them. This did stay up, though, for the whole weekend, and I gave jumping from Stanton to Pyro a try, and it almost worked. The tunnel just poofed at one point, and that was it. And then I could not jump again on that server for the rest of the night. Man, I just gotta say, if they get this less buggy, it's actually so fun to do. As I was going through this, I was literally having fun, and that's hard to say in Star Citizen right now for me. They just haven't been working well at all, and it's been a big pain point of these 4.0 patches that they're trying to get fixed. Then Friday, we had a 324.2 hotfix. That's .2. We're going back. We were in .3 on Monday. It's a little crazy. There wasn't much here, as it's mostly just bug fixes, and that it'll kind of be pushed to live ASAP. The reason for that is they're trying to fix live. 324.3 is IAE. They're different things, I think. And yeah, they're just trying to get that fixed. Sunday was another 324.2a playtest slash some hot fixing, I think. And I wasn't able to do this test as it was timed, and I was with my family. So enjoy more scuffed footage from Monday, I guess. But I just want to talk about this. I really enjoyed Overdrive, but I also feel like right now, with how unstable things have been, do we have to do this now? Can people that are working on Overdrive help out with 4.0? Can they be doing other things like fixing the content that they have in the game now that isn't working? Is this just another marketing event, right? I feel like we need stuff like this after 4.0. Let me know what you guys think. I don't think there's any wrong answers here on this. It's just CIG, do they not feel like they're kind of all over the place? I feel like they knew at some point that 4.0 wasn't coming anytime soon, and they had a meeting and they sat down and were like, you guys remember Overdrive? People like that. Oh yeah, people like that. Let's just do that again, but in a different way. And then they're not really succeeding at getting it done. Now, I did hear that this playtest went smooth-er, so that's a good sign because previous playtests were just not going well. So with that said, let's move into roadmap updates, and this one is spicy. All right, and for Roadmap Roundup, a bit of a surprise, but I think a lot of people expected this. They are updating 1.0. So they're doing things a bit differently now since 1.0 is basically the release of the game. They're doing an extremely broad card system on the roadmap, and as a feature makes it into the patches from now until launch, they'll migrate that from 1.0, from the 1.0 column to the, let's say, 4.1 column if it's, I don't know, engineering, for example, right? Which is not making it into 4.0. It's a bit odd because CIG does this thing where they say, for example, NPC shops and selling are in the game, but they are implemented in the most rudimentary and honestly worst player experience in any buy or sell interaction I've had in any game in my life, right? Then 324 cards. They're just putting all those things on the release view now. The Starlancer Max, which we saw at CitizenCon, is in. The Argo CSV SM, which is in-game now, I think. The RSI Polaris, which we know we're going to see at IAE. And the Tracker and Ghost Mark II variants of the Hornet, Acidic and Rock Caves, which we've already been to, and multi-tool updates. The main one is that the Tractor Beam kind of works differently, which isn't even listed in this roadmap update. Then 4.0 is losing major features. So this is the big one, and this is the thing that kind of everyone was talking about this week. Some people were upset, some people weren't. So the excuse is, and I believe it's the right call, is that because of the engineering needs, this will be ironic because yeah, you'll see, to support server meshing, pyro, and general stability, they are pushing a number of features from 4.0. And some of the big ones at that, life support, engineering, charge and drain, and fire are all out. And there totally weren't multiple ISCs hyping us up for this, right? I want so badly to get to a place where our ships become our ships, and they're not just tossed away like napkins, right? So I'm bummed out about this, just to be clear. And the craziest one to me, which is a weird one, I know, is the solar burst is gone. This is what makes Pyro Pyro. That's what's supposed to sell the entire system, just lore-wise or feel-wise. Star Citizen is an immersive game, a tactile game. That feel is now gone. Do I think we need it or I need it in-game? No. But it just... And it feels like CIG felt the same, like that we don't need it right now, and that's why they made this choice, but it's also kind of a bummer. I'm just pointing that out, right? And then the last one, in my opinion, is the only one that is absolutely unacceptable. 4.0 is a tech patch, to me at least, and it's server meshing, the mission refactor, which we see in 4.0 a little bit right now. You don't lose your missions, by the way. I should have been mentioning that in the patch notes section. You don't lose your mission. Somebody said that they logged out yesterday and came back today, and they had their mission. So keep that in mind, which is pretty cool. Pyro, to me, is the afterthought to those, because let's add something else to that, the transit refactor. That is a part of the tech for 4.0, to me at least. It makes zero sense to make server meshing tech and the transit refactor not be available to work with it. We're going to be dealing with so many issues from 4.0 general stability, right? Or just instability. And then we'll have train and elevator issues on top of that. I don't know, man. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what CIG is trying to do here. It just feels like they're trying to hit dates so they can say they did things. But if you haven't done them properly, have you really done them? And as always, we start out with a sneak peek. I keep getting told this is the Polaris, but I can't stop seeing Argo for some reason. It's just the angle, it looks really square. Certainly, I hope this is not some random new large ship that's super power creep or something. There is an empty CSV below it, so that's what's selling me on Argo too. I don't know, just tell me what it is, and it's the Polaris. I know I'm probably wrong, just so we can move on, right? Moving on, though, I don't know if you guys want to. Vulkan is still delayed. So for Dev Post, we just have one, but there's multiple replies from different developers. Sylvan, who is the man, the VR man, right, posted on Spectrum responding to a thread asking if Vulkan multi-threading work has any updates. And he let us know that it's in the dev branch. That's great. It's looking promising. That's awesome. And it'll be in the next release, which should be 4.0 to us, right? Yes. But he also says it's not going to improve performance very much. My guess is the things that will improve performance for us is all the things. Server meshing, plus this, plus that kind of stuff. I feel like we're always chasing that performance carrot. It's very frustrating as a player. Then Ali Brown jumps in to actually ruin the day even more and says it won't be in the next major release. So this is something that was expected all the way back in 3.23, and we have a part of it, but not all of it. And it's still not ready, which is super unfortunate. We're also getting still tons of Vulkan-related crashes, right? So if you play the game, and tried Vulkan, you understand why we don't have this yet. He also explains that the next release is 4.0. So it's already in testing. How can they add more stuff to it? They're already trying to stabilize it. So why are they trying to stabilize it? Because they're trying to hit an end-of-the-year release date for 4.0. But if you don't get tech things into 4.0 that we were talking about earlier, this would be another one to add to that list that would be on my kind of must-haves, right? Is performance improvements. Not just server meshing, but performance improvements for the client as well, right? And yeah, that's a really sad thing. And I just want to be at a place where we can be proud and tell our friends, hey, check out this game. And are we going to be able to do that for 4.0? I'm not so sure. We're still going to be saying things like, hey, look at this beautiful planet. Look at this cool ship. But are we going to say, check out this game? At least I won't. You guys might. Feel free to sound off in the comments about it, but I won't. Then moving on to the Galactapedia, the main article is about Michelle Solano, who was the first person to jump, quantum jump, basically, past Jupiter. This is lore that is basically just part of the RSI Zeus sale, and that's really about it. The next stuff is way more up my alley. These are the side articles. Degnous root seems to play a huge factor in Pyro, even though this article doesn't describe it at all. But I have found a drug lab in the contested zones that's literally growing this on a table. And on the other side of the room is a drug lab, and there's drugs everywhere. So, yeah, interesting. Prota is even more interesting and kind of plays into what I'm trying to tell you here or sell you or whatever, why I think this is so cool, is it describes possible crafting applications. So did the Degnous root, by the way. But learning this lore could actually matter to us someday. If I need Prota for crafting something, I know where to find it. It only grows in acidic caves. Interesting, right? And that's where I'll leave it. This week was a little bit crazy, so if this week in review isn't up to the standard that you guys are used to, it's because I wasn't able to be in game as much as I could be because of IRL things that are going on, right? And we all know life, just catches you sometimes. It caught me this week. I'm really hoping it'll be, and last week, to be honest, so I'm hoping it'll be better. Also, I posted a video saying Star Citizen would be my forever game, right? And I didn't know how to handle it. I wasn't very happy with the way I posted that video and the way I communicated myself. I posted it, and you look at it after, and you're like, man, I could have done that so much better. It's my forever game if they deliver on the things that they talked about at CitizenCon. They didn't deliver on the things they talked about at CitizenCon last year. There's lots of caveats there. They have to deliver those features, right? A lot of people made the comment of, your forever in development game. Yeah, it was hilarious. I laughed every time somebody made that comment, but my hope is if Star Citizen does these things, it's my forever game because of the tangibles that they already have now, like these amazing planets, clouds, the immersive nature of it, right? That kind of thing. That's what I was trying to describe. I was able to do it here in 30 seconds instead of 15 minutes in that video. It was just a ramble fest, and I apologize. But that's where I'll leave this video. So thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're really enjoying the Weeks in Review, and I will catch you guys next week.